We now switch to the hands-on portion of this series of video recordings and utilize the Payment Calculator project to demonstrate all of the concepts introduced in this presentation thus far. Even before you open the Payment Calculator.xlsm file, notice the M instead of the X in the file extension, denoting a macro-enabled file. Make sure that you enable running of macros, since that is the entire purpose of each of the examples we're going to be using for the rest of the class. We will start with the loan amortization sheet in the code module by the same name. The sheet has two buttons associated with two click events that need to be programmed to calculate the monthly payment and create the amortization schedule, respectively. Okay, we will start with calculating monthly payment click event. Okay, and we will use a bunch of Excel objects such as this workbook, worksheet collection, worksheet object, range, and so forth to and the PMT function to gather input from the user and calculate and display the monthly payment. So switch back to the payment calculator project file, and notice that the loan amortization sheet is given here, the layout of it. Under the developer tool, you can switch to Visual Basic by clicking on the Visual Basic button. If you don't have developer tab, go under File, Options, Customize ribbon, and check the developer box. Alternatively, you can use Alt 11 to accomplish the same thing. And then finally, since we do have these buttons, and we'll start with calculate monthly payment, if you right click on it and you choose to assign macro, you'll see that the BTN calculate click event, the first one at the top of that code module, it just popped up, is attached to that button. If you click edit, it's going to bring you to the VBA just as well. The Visual Basic for application environment, similar but not the same to Visual Studio, consists of the Project Explorer showing you the Payment Calculator XLSM file as a VBA project, all of its objects, which currently are the three sheets and the workbook itself, as well as three code modules, the loan amortization being the one currently displayed. Okay. Well, what we're going to do next is start by reviewing the four already declared financial variables: amount, years, rate, and payment, all of which except years are double, years being the integer. Then we're going to declare our first Excel object variable, dim wloan, as worksheet. Okay, and we're going to then set wloan to this workbook, okay, which is again the object shown in the Project Explorer, worksheets collection, and then this specific worksheet called loan amortization. Make sure to spell it right, otherwise it's not going to work. The spelling can be double checked against the sheet name right here in the Project Explorer. Next, what we need to do is assign the borrowing amount, number of years, and the interest rate variables declared at the top, by extracting essentially the values of these three input cells: B4 for loan for amount, B5 for number of years, and B8 for the interest rate, and assign those values to these three variables. The way it's done is as follows. We'll start with the amount is assigned to wloan, which is our worksheet, the range object, which is also the property of that worksheet, cell B4, the address specified in double quotes, and the value property that actually contains that negative 200,000 shown right here. Copy, paste, and modify for year variable, which comes out of cell B5, okay, the 30 right here, and then finally paste one more time, I think it's years, paste one more time, and rate is in cell B8. Okay, keep saving as we work, obviously. Then we're going to use the worksheet function object of the application object, or worksheet function property that itself is an object on the application, and we're going to use its PMT function to calculate the monthly payment and assign it to payment variable shown right here, or declared right there. Application dot worksheet function .pmt. Now notice that the tooltip is not very helpful, having argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, and so forth. We should need to remember, therefore, that rate monthly is the first argument, number of months, which is years, times 12 the second one, and amount the third one. The monthly payment will be positive because the amount is negative, as shown in cell B4. Okay, and finally, once the payment is calculated, we have to then assign that payment to the cell B9 in the worksheet. In other words, we have to create the assignment that's reversed. On the left side is the value property of a particular cell in that amortization loan sheet, which is B9. And on the right side of the assignment is the actual payment calculated using PMT function and the three input variables which we obtained from the worksheet cells B4, B5, and B6. Okay, we're going to save that. Make sure that we didn't skip anything. We have the worksheet object. We set it to loan amortization spelled correctly. We assign each of the three input variables to the values of specific cells in that loan amortization worksheet: B4 for amount, B5 for years, and B8 for rate. Then we use the payment function of the worksheet function object, which is a property of application object, with monthly rate, number of months, and dollar amount. And then we took that payment, the calculated payment, and displayed it back in the worksheet in the cell B9 using its value property of that loan amortization worksheet. Switch back to the Excel, and then if everything works out, we should get $954.83. Switching back to the presentation, this may be a good time to pause.